Hey guys, it's me, Alex Garcia, aka the COG. And if you see my face, you know what time it is. It's the best day of the week, new comic book day. And we got ourselves a hell of a new comic book day today. DC and Marvel have brought some interesting things out. Can't wait to talk about them. So let's jump right in it. We're gonna start in DC with DC KO by Scott Snyder and I want to get his name right, Javi Fernandez on the art. Guys, this is DC's big event for the fall, which is going to bring all these threads since DC's All In from last year, from last year, and everything that's happening in the DC universe and in the Absolute universe together. We got Darkseid is finally back, and the heroes have to figure out a way to stop him because they've already been warned that he's coming, and you've already lost. The game is over once he arrives. So how do they have to deal with it? They figure out, hey, we have to have a tournament to fight against the Omega power. Crazy. If you know Scott Snyder, Scott, the last bunch of years has loved to tell these crazy stories. You know, his DC metal and dark metal and a couple other just off the wall stories. I mean, even his Absolute Batman really is just nuts. So here, like, as I was reading it, I had to just tell myself, he's having fun. This is fun. This is fun comic books. I mean, and check out this Danny Warren Johnson cover, right? I mean, it's a fun comic event. It's meant to just embrace how crazy it is, but Scott always manages to bring it grounded, right? If you first started reading like Absolute Batman recently, the first couple issues were like, what the hell is going on? But then it gets grounded. And this issue really got me. In the beginning, I was kind of like rolling my eyes a little bit, but then as it progressed, I was like, okay, I see what's happening. I like what's happening. It's fun, and the surprise ending was very, very good. So stick around to the end of this issue. Give it a chance. If you're a DC person, I guarantee you're in it. If you're not a DC person, like really I'm not, it does get you. So enjoy it. Pick up this Danny Warren Johnson cover or whatever cover it is you want. There's so many to choose from. I'm having fun. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. So don't miss this issue. Good stuff. But speaking of Absolute, we got Absolute Batman, Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta, the introduction of the Absolute Catwoman in the midst of this crazy abomination story with Bane. Catwoman shows up, and you can tell you already know there's a history between these characters, but her being Selena Kyle being Catwoman in this world is no surprise to Batman. Very nice reintroduction, re-meeting of these two characters. Great issue, still tying up all those Bane threads. Really enjoying what Batman and Catwoman have to do together, and we get the first appearance, if you haven't seen the spoilers online already, of another Absolute character, very prominent in the proper DC universe. Great stuff. Don't miss this issue. I guarantee you, the way DC KO is going along, it seems like this might matter with that, because it's all coming to a head together. So if you've been loving Absolute Batman, don't miss this one. Check it out. And let's check out some Black Label, where we got Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, #3, by that Ice Cream Man team of Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo. At the end of the last issue, we saw this new Kryptonite that has been formed, made Superman back in Superboy. So who better for him to be teaming up with to try to get his head around being a kid again than Shazam, right? Billy Batson himself. The two of them are hanging out. Billy realizes, you know what, you need to go through some art therapy because him being a kid again is really messing with his head, and also just all the recent traumatic events of the first two issues, him learning about all these new kryptonites and how everybody's out to get him. And in the meantime, in the background, we got Batman, Bruce Wayne, trying to figure out what exactly is going on with all these kryptonites and why they're suddenly showing up. So what's the story behind all that? Good stuff. This one really fleshes out the characters of this world, because it really felt like the first two issues everything was go go go. This one kind of takes a step back. We get Clark and Billy having some really heartfelt conversations, literally going through some therapy, which was really cool. And I liked what Batman discovers, and I'm really intrigued as to where this is all going, and we're kind of getting answers as to where these kryptonites really are coming from. Cool stuff. Let's jump into Marvel, where a long-delayed book, but worth the wait, The World to Come, Marvel Knights, The World to Come, number 3, right? Joe Quesada, Christopher Priest, coming back for the anniversary of this series, and they did not miss a beat. Even though it was a little delayed, if you haven't missed it, guys, spoilers, we now have this new character, Katema, I believe his name is the white Black Panther, and now the King of Wakanda. The world is dealing with that, and we get more of the backstory as to why exactly this has come about. Joe Quesada still killing it on the art. The delay was well worth it because the artwork in this is beautiful. I really love seeing the dialogue that Priest brings to T'Challa when he was a kid, going through what he was going through, that eventually leads to this decision. And then the end of this book, we really start to see why it's so dangerous to have this new Black Panther, King of Wakanda. Good stuff. This World to Come is so good that Marvel has decided to add to it by bringing Jimmy Palmiotti and Dan Panosian to do Marvel Knights The Punisher. This series helps to flesh out this World to Come world. This takes place, I think it was like 40 or 50 years before the events of World to Come, but after the first issue, and even in this issue, you can see why this matters, because it just helps to flesh out this world while also helping you to understand, well, why did we get to this point from the Punisher's perspective. Dan Panosian on the art, killing it. I mean, the guy's amazing. His stuff on the work he's done on other books, especially like books like Conan, great work. Really like this book. I had high hopes, but I was not expecting it to be this great. Jimmy, New York native, Brooklyn, let's go, baby. You're doing a great job on this. Really enjoyed this. Interesting ways to handle the Punisher, and you don't hold back. The violence in this book makes you really, really miss those Marvel Knights days. So great stuff. And if you're enjoying the World to Come stuff, don't miss this issue. Let's jump into X-Men, Age of Revelation stuff. This week had a ton of Age of Revelation stuff, guys. If you watched me last week, I talked about how there's, for me, just too much of it. I'm going to be focusing on the stuff that I'm pretty sure is going to matter. Anything that pretty much has Jed McKay's name on it, and maybe a few other titles. But for the most part, I'm going to be sticking right here. And in this issue, we get more of what it is that's happening in this world and why it's happening, because we now know that Doug Ramsey, aka Revelation, who is the new Apocalypse, why it's so interesting and not so fortuitous that he would join the X-Men. 10 years after he joins, they allow him to join the X-Men. We see that the world is completely changed. Lots of things are going on. This issue does a great job of fleshing out this world, as well as making you understand how much power Revelation really, really has. And it was cool to see what he does to how he manipulates Wolverine. And I really, really like seeing all this interaction between these X-Men characters, even some of the new ones. We get appearances from other characters from the other X-Men books, like Uncanny, and we get some crazy things going on. So it's like, okay, this one piqued my interest a little bit more than the Overture issue from last week, but I'm still staying away from all the extra, because there was like 4 other Age of Revelations books that came out this week. If you're the biggest X-Men fan and you gotta collect everything, sure, pick them up. I'm hearing some decent things about those other things, but this book is definitely worth to pick up, and I will be back for issue number 2. Oh, and they're all, hopefully, I think, as far as I've seen, only going to be 3 issues, so not so bad. And let's jump over to the Ultimate Universe, where we got Ultimate Black Panther by Brian Hill and Carlos Nieto. Guys, the Ultimate Universe continues to cook. We're coming down to that 2-year mark where we know everything's gonna head into the ultimate endgame, and Brian Hill, he just continues to tell a great story here in Ultimate Black Panther. This is all now the setup for, they know this massive war is coming. And what I liked is he's completely subverted my expectations, because in this issue, Killmonger and Black Panther, they realize, look, man, if we're gonna survive this world and help the world survive what's coming, we gotta team up. We gotta get over our issues. This is a really nice slow down issue after everything that happened in the last couple issues, and Shuri gets a great moment at the end, which I was happy to see, because Wakanda needs to come together, and especially in the Ultimate Universe, and seeing them come together in this issue really has me hyped for what's to come for the next few issues on our way to Ultimate Endgame. So if you're loving the Ultimate Universe, definitely don't miss this stuff. Check it out. Speaking of universes that just continue to cook, even as new people come in, we got Transformers number 25, Robert Kirkman coming in with Dan Mora. But I wasn't expecting to see Jorge Corona still on the art. And it does a great job of transitioning us, right? Because Dan Mora's art is very clean as compared to what we had with Danny Warren Johnson first and then Jorge Corona. So what I liked is the way this issue starts is you still get that Jorge Corona art, and then something very nostalgic happens in the middle of the issue. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but you're definitely gonna, if you're a Transformers fan, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. And then it beautifully transitions into Dan Mora's art, which is a lot cleaner. However, it's still just as dynamic. You can see Mora's really leaning into how Danny Warren Johnson and Corona were very dynamic in their artwork. So even though he's usually cleaner and posier, he understands that, hey, I got to put some action in this, I got to put some movement, and they do a great job with it. So here we see Megatron, licking his wounds from what previously happened, and then we get the Transformers having to deal with now working with the United States government to better protect themselves against what's happening with the invasion of Decepticons, and what they know is only the beginning. We also get some more 80s nostalgia showing up in this. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but apparently other characters from that show have also been already in. It kind of went over my head, but this one you're not going to miss. I'm looking forward to what's to come. So much goodness, so much more stories coming. Robert, really looking forward to your run on this. Great stuff. But again, thank you to Danny Warren Johnson for those first 24 issues. And last but certainly not least, Captain Planet and the Planeteers number 6 by David Pepose and Iman Casalos. Guys, David, keep killing it on all these 80s properties. And 90s properties, I should say, right? Because you're doing your thing on Speed Racer, and you're definitely doing your thing over here in Captain Planet. This is the end of the first arc, which seems to be the end of the first volume. Hopefully this is sold well enough that we're going to see it continue, because I had a blast with this first arc. This was also just fun, heartfelt issue where you see what it means to be a Planeteer and see them come together, how important they are to each other, not just to form Captain Planet, but how essential each person on the team is. David Pepose really, really loves Captain Planet and the Planeteers, and you can see it just bleeding out of these pages. Iman Casalos' art is dynamic, it's awesome. You can see he's also all in on this, and I really, really hope to see more from this property, because I had a blast with this series. So don't miss out on it. Check this out if you can still pick up the issues. Trade should be coming out very soon. Guys, this was a lot of fun. Good stuff. And that's what we picked up here over at the Comic Book Club. So make sure, over at the Comic Book Clique, that is. My apologies. And it was a heck of a week. DC was killing it. Marvel's cooking up. Transformers as always. So guys, let us know what you picked up this week. Like, share, and comment below. Let me know what it is that I missed. Tell me how wrong I am about the Age of Revelation. Tell me I should be picking up all those issues. It's all good. I have no problem. Let's talk about it. Make sure you're tracking us on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, on our X. We're all over the place. We want to have these conversations. We want to enjoy ourselves with these comics. Guys, we're having a blast. So thank you as always. Make sure you keep following us as well over on Dirt Sheet Radio. We love to talk about wrestling. Our own Jon Escudero just got to have an interview with Tony Khan, and we all know that DC is teaming up with AEW, so comic books are being talked about everywhere, guys. So make sure you don't miss out any of the news and discussions we're having all over the place. Our boy the Don wants to have those conversations, so let's all have those conversations. So as always, guys, keep print alive, read more comics. Thank you.